what's up guys? How's everybody doing? As I promised earlier in the week, today I am going to be taking care of the heater core flush as I move you guys all around and you get all drunk. Anyway, I'm just kind of looking at some things on what I want to do. The way this works as far as how I want to back flush it is, you know, your hot water comes out of your engine there, goes into your heater core, and then comes back out to this one. So what I want to do is take and hook my hose up to that, well, my discharge hose up to that, and then my garden hose up to that side there, and blow everything through that side. Instead of trying to push everything all the way through, back flush it by going through this one, which goes back to the radiator on the bottom side, right bound by your oil filter, right there. What I want to do is hook my hose up to that side and push everything through, back and around, back out of this hose. So I have this barb fitting here I'm just going to use, and then I have some new hose as I have a mess back here. Still trying to figure out, I'm going to give it one more shot on the heater, I think. Going to go through, clean some lines, clean some sensors up by the burner and the igniter, and see what happens. Other than that, it's gone. So anyway, I've got some some 5/8 heater hose I'm going to use. I'm going to hook this up to the inlet side of my heater core and then run it into the container right there, and then I'll take it to work and put it in the oil burner. Try and take out as much water as I can, but our oil burner will burn antifreeze, so that's why I'm just going to take it there. That's why I take all my oil is to work and put it in our oil burner. So and this fitting right here, what this fitting is going to be for, I said I asked you guys to tell me what you thought I was going to use this for, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take that 90 and I'm going to put it right there, and that's why I said when it's going to make future jobs easier. You know, when you take your valve cover off, you have to bend that hose over, slide your valve cover to the side, and pull everything out, because there's just not enough real estate on the second gens to pull, you know, that valve cover out of there. It's just really hard to get it out. And also, while I have my valve cover off, the reason I'm going to take it off is because you can't spin the 90 around to tighten it with the valve cover on. So I'm going to have to take it off to be able to put that in place. And then that's why I have some other heater hose, so I can take and cut a piece, because I'll have to get rid of that hose there, because it'll be it'll probably be too short if I would cut that 90 off of that hose. And it has just some wear marks from, you know, me bending it over, taking the valve cover off. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. You know, if I was to cut it off here, it would probably be too short. So anyway, that's the scoop poop. Per se, that's what I have going on today. So I'm going to start with probably do the flush first and get that out of the way, and then pull my valve cover off, do my valve lash, because I haven't done my valve lash since I done the valve springs, what, a month or two ago. So I really want to recheck those, and I have a suspicion, you know, I was in a hurry trying to put things back together. I have a suspicion that some of my fuel mileage loss is because I had it on the wrong stroke for setting a valve lash. You want to make sure when you set your valve lash, when you have it at top dead center, to have it on the right stroke. So that being said, when you take and grab a hold on cylinder one, grab the exhaust rocker and the intake rocker and make sure they are both loose, so that you have it on the right stroke. So I have a picture saved on my phone, I have the sheet saved on my computer, and I think I threw that away after I printed it out, that shows you what to check on what stroke of the engine. So, you know, that's pretty easy. There's several videos out there. I've done a video. Just got to make sure you have it on the right stroke to start with, as far as top dead center. And then that's pulling the cover off there, taking your mirror, checking your pump gear, and lining up your timing marks with your timing cover. Right there, just behind that hose, you can't see it, but it does say TDC, and then there's a mark on your pump gear. Mine's a VP truck, so there's a mark on my VP gear that will give you your top dead center. Just make sure and put it on the right stroke. So right now I'm gonna grab some pliers. Guess I'm Mr. Gadget now. Grab some pliers, get that hose off, get everything hooked up, and garden hose is there. Start flushing everything out, I guess. All right, like I said, I want to pull this hose off here and hook. Actually, I got some old garden hose that I'm going to use instead of my good heater hose and blow everything out. And then I have it going down to a 2.5 gallon jug. So I want to pinch this one and pull it off and hook it up to my garden hose. And then take this one off and hook it up to the garden hose on the pressure side. That's kind of all there is to that. Look down there inside the bucket and see what we have. All right, we'll take my light and shine inside there. Not a whole lot. I did fill up. I've washed 2.5 gallons. It's a 2.5 gallon jug, and I did fill it completely to the top with my wash. So there's not a whole lot inside there. Just some scale. So I really don't know exactly why. I don't know. I just don't know if this was my issue. Is possibly, maybe not, don't know. So like I had said in the past, what I'm getting is when I turn my blower motor on high, it seems like the heater core runs out of heat. So not sure what that issue is, but we'll continue to watch it. Hopefully this takes care of it. And like I said, that issue, that 90 is not going to pose a problem either. It's a full flow 90, wherever it fell to, I don't know. So it has just as much flow as the, if you can see that right there, has just as much flow as the fitting that's on there. That's just a 1/2 inch straight barb, and I'm just going with a 1/2 inch pipe NTP to 5/8 barb. Same thing that's on the truck now. It's just that one's straight and this one's a 90. So here's the part number for that. If you guys want to pick this up, it is an Edelbrock product. I did get this on Amazon Prime. I'll put a link in the description below for this also. Right now, I guess I'm just gonna pull my valve cover off. So I do have it flushed, I guess. As much as I'm going to, I wanted to pick up some acid or something, whatever, to possibly clean the heater core out, but I really don't know that it's necessary. There wasn't a whole lot, there's not a lot of pressure in the heater cores themselves, so I didn't want to turn the hose on extremely high. Just for the simple fact I didn't want to blow anything up. So what I see in that 2.5 gallon, I don't feel that there's any need to do like an acid wash in it or anything like that. Everything that I have found thus far to clean your coolant system out is just you drain your reservoir down just about a gallon, and then you mix the stuff up and put it in your radiator, and then you start your engine, let it circulate for, get up to temperature, so your thermostat will open, and then you let that circulate for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you flush your complete system and then refill with new antifreeze. Well, I don't really have the ability to do that unless I would do it and then pull like a bottom heater core hose off. Not heater core, I'm sorry, bottom rad hose off, or radiator hose, whatever you want to call it, off, and do it that way. So right now I'm just going to leave it as is, put the 90 in there because I'm going to pull my valve cover off anyway to check my lash, and I think that will be a lot nicer in the future with that sitting on there like that, to get that valve cover off, because it's going to be sitting lower without that hose bent up and around. Just little things that I like to do to make things easier, and also for aesthetic purposes too. So I guess for right now, go ahead and pull my valve cover off, hook everything back up, and see how it goes. Alright, I have this heater hose off. That one there, it was giving me a little bit of trouble, so I had to cut it and slice it back here to get it off, because it was actually pushed onto the heater core inlet about that far. So I cut it to get it off. Gonna have to reuse my, not reuse, but I'm gonna reuse these two clamps here for the time being, and just put a straight heater hose on. I did get that straight fitting out back there. That's just a 7/8 deep well socket to pull that off right there. But I ran into a little impasse, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Never even really give it a thought. Do you know how just a few minutes ago I told you that, you know, those heater cores are not set up for a whole lot of pressure as far as water pressure circulation through it? Now, if you guys know, hit me up in the comment section and let me know, because still planning on doing this, but we're gonna have to go about it a different way. So, you know, I pulled this straight off of there. Just looks normal, doesn't it? It's just a steel straight 1/2 inch MPT to 5/8 barb, or 5/8 H, whatever you want to call it. Just looks pretty normal until you turn it over and look at the bottom side. Now, with that being on there, that tells me that they want that flow restricted going into the heater core. Whether it be to keep heat in there and not allow it to circulate through, or to keep pressure down on that heater core. One or the other, I'm not 100% certain which, but it is there for a reason. So, what I'm posing to do, I still want to do this. Now this won't work because this is steel and this 90 is aluminum, unless I pick up a steel 90, which I can do that, or get just go get a stainless one, or go get a don't even know, a cast steel, whatever. This is steel, I think, or this might be brass. I don't know. I'd have to clean a spot off and see which, because it is painted black or anodized black from the factory. But what I'm going to pose to do, if you can see there, that hole is just a little bit bigger. I'm going to get a aluminum washer. I'm going to take this to a buddy of mine at work and have him TIG a cap on there to reduce the flow, just like that is. So for today, this 90 is not going to go on there. Yes, it sounds like a lot of work, but the end game is what I look at. I want it to look nice, and this is, you know, pretty heavy steel piece, so I may get a steel 90 and still have, I mean, if I get steel, I can just MIG that on myself and clean it up and do that. I don't have stainless wire though. It would pose the only problem. So I really, unless I would get brass, I don't know. I don't know. This aluminum will be fine. Use aluminum fittings a lot with, you know, the vibrant fittings on everything. So you're just gonna have to get an aluminum washer, which I don't have. I have just mild steel and stainless steel washers, but get an aluminum washer or make an aluminum washer. Do something to put a restrictor of flow. You like that terminology? Restrictor of flow. Something, put something on there to restrict the flow. Don't know. but we're gonna have to do something to put in there to restrict that flow going up and through. Like I said, I'm not 100% certain why they've done it, but it is done. So we will do something. Whether it be an insert inside there, whoops, there we go. Whether it be an insert inside there to restrict that flow, but I think tigging on a washer to the top side of that would probably be the best for right now. Then if I have to, I'll use a 1/2 inch MPT tap or a die and just clean up the threads just a little bit and then put it in place. But as you can see, you do have to take the valve cover off though to be able to spin this in place. Just like so. Otherwise it's going to hit the valve cover when you're spinning it. And the stud on the back side. Yep, I'm hitting the stud on the back side too. Because there's a head stud right there that is in the way also from threading that down. So there's quite a bit of hassle, I guess you could say, going into putting this 90 in place. I'm gonna have to remove the nut, pull the stud out to be able to thread that in there. But like I said, everything is for the end game. And you know, you do things to kind of change it up and make it your own. So that's what, just things that I want to do. Everybody has something that they want to do to change things up, and this is something that I want to do. Make sure everything is cleaned out of that hole before I put the old fitting back in. Alright, I did put that fitting back in place. I'm gonna go ahead and start on my latch. Got my puke tube cover off and in top dead center, and you can see that, well, I've got that feeler gauge in there now. I took mine out just because these are the ones that I primarily use the most, is the 10 and the 20. Intake being 10, exhaust being 20. Now you can see, this is why I wanted to recheck it. See how sloppy that is? That is way too much compared to number 1. Or let's see, on the exhaust, there's my sheet there, and I have it wrote down on the paper. Intake is 10, exhaust is 20. And then top dead center, you check 1, 2, and 4 on the intake, and 1, 3, and 5 on the exhaust. And then top bottom center is 3, 5, and 6 intake, and 2, 4, and 6 exhaust. So if I wanted to check the exhaust, let's see, number 1 was too loose, we saw. So I'll go to number 3, which is 1, 2, and 3. And I think 3 is way too loose also. Should be pretty hard to get that. And see how much that rocker's moving underneath there? That's just way, 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 way too loose. See that? This is why I should have checked these a lot sooner. If we go to number 3, see how loose that one is? I think that's entirely too loose. 1, 3, and exhaust is 5, so we are on number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 back there. That's pretty loose too. So we're gonna go through here and check all of them and then get everything put back together. So anyway, like I said, I want to grab, I don't even know where fitting's laying up there, so I'm gonna take that in and talk to him and see what I can do as far as getting an aluminum washer or something like that welded in the top of that. I know it's a lot of work, but so was changing the valve springs. The valve springs, yeah, that was a necessary thing. Is this necessary? No, it's not. But I wish I would have had the camera on when I did remove the valve cover with the hose off of there. That valve cover slid up and over so nice and right out. It was really, really easy to take off, and it was almost like taking a common rail cover off. So, you know, it was just one of those things that I want to do it, so I think it looks good. Anyway, I think for right now, that's pretty much going to do it. You guys going to want to tune in tomorrow because I did it again. Tires and wheels. I bought another set of tires and wheels, so just something you might want to tune in tomorrow to see, and we'll go from there. I got to get those put on, and yeah, I know it's winter time, but why not splurge a little bit and buy another set? Anyway, I do appreciate you guys watching very, very much. Hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Later on. Bye-bye.